Hi there. I trust you're doing well. If you watched the last devotion that I shared, it was about the thief at the cross who accepted Christ the very last minute. I shared about looking at Christ through the eyes of the thief. Today, as we all know, is a day that people all across the globe remember as Good Friday, the day that Jesus laid his life for all of mankind. And I thought, why not look at Good Friday or look at the situation at the cross through the eyes of Jesus Christ himself? Now, if we read in the book of Philippians, chapter 2, verse 8, Paul writes here, "And being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient to the point of death, even the death of the cross." Now, what Paul writes here is proof of what Christ actually did at the cross of Calvary. Now, for a man who was so terribly beaten and bruised, his flesh torn apart, losing so much of blood and this terrible crown of thorns on his head, and to make it worse, being nailed to a cross. Every single word that Jesus spoke, my friend, wasn't easy. It had to come with a lot of pain, emotionally, physically, and he was going through so much at the cross of Calvary. But what did he do? Well, Paul says that he humbled even to the point of his death. When the thief looked at Jesus and when he declared that Jesus is Lord, and when he said, "Remember me when you come into your kingdom," Jesus could have just given a simple nod, or he could have given a very simple word. But he goes on to say to the thief at the cross, "Assuredly I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise." Now, what does that show us about Jesus? Well, this verse that we read before from Philippians, Jesus was willing to minister. He was willing to do God's will till the very last breath of his life. He was willing to get that one soul also saved till the very last breath of his life. And my friend, that puts a question to each one of us today. How are we when it comes to sharing this love of Christ? Do we say, "Well, I'm going through my own problems, I have my own difficulties, and I can't be doing God's work at this time, man. I need to take a break"? How serious can the situation get for us? Are we at a situation where Christ was? Are we going through the amount of pain that Christ is going through, Christ went through? None of us, right? But Jesus was still willing, as a man, as a son of man, but as a human, he was still willing, he was still compassionate to say these words to the man who was willing to open his heart to God. And my friend, I want to tell you today, as we remember the death of Christ, that no matter how hard the situation in life can get, we can always look up to Christ. We can always look up to Jesus, as the best example when it comes to sharing love, when it comes to showing love, when it comes to accepting people with arms wide open, even though it was painful to keep his arms wide open that way. And this Good Friday, I want to leave this thought in your mind, saying, Jesus said to that thief at the cross, "Today you will be with me in paradise." How many of you listening here today, if Christ comes and stands before you, how many of you have that assurance that today, if at all my life comes to an end, I will be with Christ? Well, that's for you to answer, and I just want to leave that thought in your mind for you to ponder upon and meditate. And while we still can, let's share the love of Christ this Good Friday, this resurrection weekend that is to come. And may the love of Christ guard your hearts. And if this was a blessing to you, do share with your friends, and God bless you. Have a Christ-centered week. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.